The sun barely reached the distant horizon of the dusty planet, painting the sky in pale orange. Alex wiped sweat from his forehead as he climbed over the wreckage of old human ships, his boots crunching the sand with each careful step. He had been scavenging this abandoned outpost for weeks, looking for parts that could keep the few remaining human machines alive. Yet today felt different. An unease tingled in his chest, as if something was watching him, hidden beneath centuries of silence. He ducked under a broken metal beam and saw it, a shadow that did not belong to the scattered ruins, half buried under rocks and debris. Its shape was unlike any human design, massive and angular, yet somehow elegant. He felt a pull toward it, curiosity mixed with fear. Every instinct told him to run, yet his hands itched to touch it. Alex moved closer, brushing away layers of sand, his fingers tracing strange alien symbols etched into the metal hull. They glowed faintly under his touch. Cold energy running through him like a whisper from the past. Alex stepped back, breathing hard, trying to understand what he saw. The ship was enormous, far larger than any human craft he had ever known. The surface shimmered as if it held a life of its own. He could see what looked like hatches and panels, some partially open, others sealed tight by time. His mind raced, questions forming faster than he could answer. Who built this? What purpose did it serve? And most importantly, why was it here? Forgotten by time and memory. He pulled out a small scanner from his bag, a device that beeped and hummed as it tried to read the alien metal. The readings were unlike anything human science had recorded, energy levels dormant but present, almost like the ship was sleeping. Alex's heart pounded. The thought of awakening something so powerful made him nervous. Yet the thrill of discovery burned brighter than fear. He crouched beside a panel, noticing faint scratches and marks. Maybe centuries ago someone had tried to open it and failed, or perhaps they feared what lay inside. Suddenly, a small movement caught his eye, a glimmer from the ship's surface. He leaned closer and realized it was a tiny light, pulsing slowly, almost like a heartbeat. Alex swallowed, his hands trembling. He wanted to step back, yet he could not. The ship seemed to call to him, whispering in a language he did not understand, a promise of power, knowledge, and adventure. Alex's mind raced, imagining what it could do, what humans could learn, and how it might change their place in the galaxy. He walked around the massive hull, studying the alien symbols, each line and curve intricate, some forming shapes that resembled stars, other shapes he could not name. He took notes on his tablet, careful not to touch too much, yet curiosity kept pulling him closer, and then he saw it. A small panel almost hidden in the shadows, a switch barely visible, worn by centuries of dust and neglect. His breath caught in his throat. He could feel the energy radiating from it, a soft vibration that traveled through the soles of his boots. Alex knelt, staring at the switch, debating in his mind. What if he presses it? What if he awakens something dangerous? He shook his head, trying to clear the thoughts, yet he could not resist. He reached out slowly, his fingers hovering above the switch, a mixture of fear and excitement coursing through him. The light from the alien symbols brightened, responding to his presence. The ship seemed alive, watching him, waiting. And in that moment, Alex realized he was about to do something no human had ever done before. He would wake a warship that had slept for centuries, and the galaxy had no idea what was coming. The wind picked up, blowing sand around his feet, making a soft whispering sound. Alex took a deep breath, his eyes fixed on the switch. He remembered the stories older humans told of ancient alien fleets that could destroy planets, of weapons and machines far beyond human imagination. Yet here he was, alone, a mechanic with tools and courage, facing a ship that had slept through centuries of history. He could almost hear the faint hum of engines beneath the metal growing stronger, as if recognizing him, calling him forward. Alex hesitated for a moment, feeling the weight of his decision. Then he placed his hand gently on the switch, feeling a vibration travel up his arm. The ship shivered under his touch, lights flickered across its surface, and the air around him seemed to hum with energy. He stepped back instinctively, his heart racing, a mix of fear and exhilaration. He realized he had just begun something that could change everything, and there was no turning back, no, He looked up at the massive hull, feeling small and fragile, yet powerful, knowing that this discovery would not only test his courage, but could also reveal secrets of the universe humans had never dreamed of. Alex whispered to himself, almost in awe, "What are you waiting for?" And the ship, silent for centuries, seemed to answer with a faint glow, as if acknowledging the human who had dared to wake it from its long slumber. And in that moment, a new adventure began, one that could decide the fate of worlds. The ship's faint glow still pulsed under Alex's hands, and the desert wind whispered across the abandoned outpost, carrying the faint scent of ozone and metal. Alex stepped back, his eyes scanning every curve of the alien warship. He knew it was not just a machine, it was something alive, something that had seen centuries of battles he could not even imagine. The symbols on the hull now shimmered brighter, like they were reacting to his presence, and a strange humming filled the air, low but powerful, vibrating through his chest, a sound that made his heart race with both fear and excitement. He crouched beside a side panel, curious about the intricate designs, his fingers brushing the carved shapes, when suddenly, a holographic image flickered to life, floating in the air like mist. Alex stumbled back, nearly falling over the rocks. The projection was old, faded, but still clear enough to see. Alien figures in strange armor moving across planets and moons, massive fleets of ships, laser beams cutting through the darkness of space, planets exploding silently, civilizations destroyed in an instant. Alex swallowed hard, realizing the ship had been built for war, for power far beyond anything humans had ever created. The hologram shifted, showing a figure that looked almost like a king, standing on a pedestal, raising his hands as if commanding the entire fleet. Alex studied it carefully, noticing that the figure's face was hidden, covered by a mask of some unknown material, and then he saw it, a symbol glowing on the figure's chest, the same symbol that was etched across the warship's hull. Alex's mind raced. He was not just looking at a ship. He was looking at the last remnant of a civilization that had ruled galaxies, a civilization humans had only heard of in legends. Suddenly, the warship's hull vibrated beneath his feet, a low hum growing louder. The ship was waking slowly, its systems scanning Alex, analyzing him, learning. And Alex realized something incredible. The ship responded to him as if it had been waiting for a human all this time. His mind flooded with questions. Why him? Why now? And more importantly, what would happen if he fully activated it? The desert around him seemed to hold its breath, the sand frozen in the air for a moment, the silence heavier than ever, and Alex felt the weight of centuries pressing down on him. He opened another panel and found a network of strange controls, some glowing, some dormant, wires and conduits running like veins across the inner hull. Alex studied them, trying to understand the logic. Every twist and pattern seemed alive, almost like the ship itself was guiding him. He remembered stories humans told about ancient machines that could think, that could choose who was worthy. And he began to believe. The ship was testing him, waiting for someone clever, brave, and patient enough to awaken it fully. As he explored, a sudden alert flashed across the holographic console, a series of red symbols he could not read, yet their meaning was clear. Danger, intrusion, warning. Alex froze, listening intently. The desert was quiet again, but then he saw movement far in the distance, dust rising, figures approaching, alien scavengers, drawn here perhaps by the awakening energy of the warship. Alex's pulse quickened. He knew they were dangerous, their technology crude but deadly. They would kill for the ship. Yet he also knew something amazing. If he could learn the ship, he could outsmart them. He could turn centuries of fear into human advantage. Lex took a deep breath, wiping sweat from his forehead, and looked at the switch again. He felt the hum under his hands, the light in the symbols brighter than before. And a thought struck him. What if the ship was more than a weapon? What if it was a key? A guardian of knowledge lost for centuries, a ship that could teach humans things even the galaxy had forgotten. He realized the stakes had grown. The discovery was no longer about curiosity. It was about survival, power, and the future of his species. He pressed a small button beside the switch more cautiously this time, and the warship responded, panels sliding open, revealing compartments filled with strange devices, energy cores glowing like captured stars. Alex felt a thrill he had never felt before, a sense of destiny pressing down on him. And then he heard it, a low rumble from deep within the hull, like the voice of the ship itself, whispering a message Alex could not understand. Yet he felt it in his bones, a warning and an invitation at the same time. Centuries of secrets were about to unfold, and humans were about to step into a galaxy that had long feared their presence. The air trembled as Alex placed his hands firmly on the switch, his heart pounding like a war drum in his chest. The desert around him seemed to hold its breath, the sands frozen in the golden twilight. For a long moment, nothing happened, and Alex wondered if he had imagined the hum. Then a sudden vibration ran through the ground, low and deep, like the heartbeat of a giant awakening from centuries of slumber. The alien warship shivered under his touch, panels sliding open with precise mechanical grace, revealing glowing energy conduits, pulsing softly like veins filled with light. The massive engines in the rear hummed louder, their sound resonating through the desert. Alex stumbled back, awestruck, as the hull began to glow with faint blue light, symbols dancing across the surface, illuminating the ruins around him. The silence of centuries broken at last. A sudden gust of wind carried the scent of ozone and metal, and the faint outline of alien scavengers appeared on the horizon, tiny figures against the orange sands moving fast, drawn by the awakening signal of the ship. Alex froze, realizing the danger. He had no weapons, no allies, only his wits and the ship. Yet something inside him told him the warship itself would protect him. It had chosen a human to awaken it, and it would respond to his instinct. His fingers flew across the alien controls, touching panels and holographic buttons that appeared as he moved. The ship responded instantly, lights shifting, energy flowing, the pulsing hum turning into a powerful resonance like a living being stretching its limbs after centuries of sleep. Alex felt it guiding him, offering knowledge, teaching him how to interface with systems no human had ever touched. Each movement of his hands brought a new connection, new power, and a rising excitement surged through him. The scavengers reached the edge of the desert, their crude weapons raised their eyes wide with fear and greed. They had heard legends of the ship and now it was awake, yet they had no idea how to fight it. Alex's mind raced, plotting, improvising, every instinct he had as a mechanic becoming a weapon. He activated the ship's targeting system, the panels around him lighting up with energy maps, alien weapons, shields and unknown devices. He did not understand all of them, but somehow the ship allowed him to control them, to make them work with human logic and creativity. With a deep breath, Alex pressed another button and a wave of energy surged from the ship, forming shields around it. The ground trembled as the massive engines fired, lifting the warship slowly. Off the sand, dust and debris exploding outward. The scavengers shouted in terror, firing their weapons, but the bullets bounced harmlessly against the energy shields. Alex could see their disbelief, their fear, and a thrill of power coursed through him. He was a human, alone, standing against centuries of alien dominance. And he had the ship at his command. The ship's voice, or at least what Alex felt as a voice in his mind, whispered guidance, a language beyond words but perfectly clear. It instructed him on navigation, weapons, and defense. Alex followed instinctively, feeling the pulse of the ship merge with his own thoughts, the desert below falling away as they rose higher, the alien scavengers fleeing in panic, realizing they were no longer hunters but prey. Alex laughed, a mixture of exhilaration and disbelief, humanity's forgotten power now alive in his hands. Suddenly, the horizon changed, dark shapes moving faster, massive alien cruisers approaching from the sky, drawn to the signal, their weapons primed, deadly energy beams slicing the air. Alex's stomach tightened. He had no experience with combat, yet the ship responded to him, targeting systems locking onto enemy ships with precision. Energy cannons, charging, shields shimmering. He felt every motion of the ship as if it were an extension of his own body, and he understood. Humans may be small, fragile, but cunning and brave, and the ship amplified those qualities into unstoppable force with a surge of courage. Alex pressed the final command and the warship roared to life fully, engines flaring, weapons firing in a controlled display. Alien cruisers stunned as massive energy blasts hit them, shields collapsing, engines failing. One by one, the fleet faltered, and Alex realized the truth. The warship had not only awakened, it had chosen humanity to wield it, to show the galaxy that even a single human could shift the balance of power. Centuries of silence shattered, and in that moment, Alex felt the immense responsibility and the infinite possibilities. The ship rose above the clouds, the desert now a distant memory, symbols glowing brighter than ever, alien fleets retreating in confusion and fear. And Alex knew the adventure had only begun. The secrets of the ship, the knowledge of ancient wars and the power of centuries waiting to be discovered. Yet one thing was clear. Humanity had awakened, and the galaxy would never be the same again. And as he looked out from the cockpit, the stars stretched before him like an endless battlefield, he whispered to himself, "Let them come, let them see what humans can do." And the ship responded with a pulse of light, as if agreeing, as if saying the war had been waiting for this very moment. The awakening complete, the legend begun, and the universe watching. The stars stretched endlessly before Alex as the alien warship cut through the void, its hull glowing like a living heart, every pulse of light sending shivers down his spine. Yet there was no time to admire the beauty, for massive shadows emerged from hyperspace ahead, fleets of alien ships larger and more advanced than anything he had imagined, their engines glowing red like angry suns, and he felt the weight of centuries pressing on him. The first true test had arrived. Alex gripped the control panels, his fingers flying across the glowing buttons, the ship humming in response, almost alive beneath his hands, shields activating in brilliant arcs of energy, weapon systems powering up with terrifying precision. And for a moment, he felt fear, real fear, a cold knot in his stomach, yet it was mixed with something stronger. Courage, determination, and a stubborn human defiance. He was a mechanic, not a soldier. Yet the galaxy had chosen him for this moment. The alien fleet surged forward, sleek cruisers bristling with weapons, energy beams slicing through space, each shot powerful enough to destroy entire moons. Alex's heart pounded as he studied the tactical hologram projecting in front of him, the ship feeding him every detail, showing enemy weak points, shield patterns, attack paths, and he realized something incredible. The ship did not just obey. It taught. It guided. It allowed him to think faster than any human mind could alone. Merging instinct with alien technology, he launched the first volley, energy beams cutting through enemy cruisers with pinpoint accuracy, explosions lighting up the darkness of space, yet more ships approached. A second wave, faster and deadlier, and Alex had to think, to improvise, to become more than human. He guided the warship in a complex dance, dodging missiles, unleashing plasma storms, shields shimmering and flaring. Under fire, the ship responding as if it anticipated every move before he even thought it. A sudden alert flashed on the holographic display. A massive alien battleship, far larger than the others, with multiple weapon arrays and shields almost impenetrable. It moved like a predator, cutting through the void with precision. And Alex knew this was the real test, the moment where everything could fail, where centuries of silence could end in destruction. Yet he felt the ship's pulse, the rhythm of its ancient power, and a strange calm filled him. The warship trusted him and he trusted it. He pressed a series of buttons, activating a previously dormant energy system, the hull opening to reveal massive plasma cannons that roared to life, firing beams of concentrated light, striking the battleship with a force that shook even Alex in the cockpit. The enemy shields faltered, sparks of energy cascading outward, and for a brief moment, the alien fleet hesitated, their confidence shaken. The test was not just about strength. It was about strategy, cunning, and courage as the battle raged. Debris of destroyed ships floated like stars in the void. Alex maneuvered with a mix of instinct and the warship's guidance, dodging attacks, countering with precision strikes. Every decision carrying the weight of survival. Every movement proving that humans were capable of more than the galaxy ever expected. The warship responded to his thoughts as if it were a part of him. Alive, patient, powerful, and together they became a force the alien fleets could not anticipate. The massive battleship launched a final barrage, a storm of energy that could obliterate the warship if it hit. Alex's mind raced, analyzing patterns, calculating angles, and in a single instant he diverted the energy, redirecting it back at the enemy. A brilliant flash of light lighting up the darkness, and when it faded, the enemy ship was broken, its fleet scattering in fear, the remaining cruisers retreating, and Alex felt a surge of triumph, not pride, but awe, knowing he had faced centuries of alien power and survived. Yet as the dust of battle settled, Alex realized the test was only beginning. The warship hummed softly, almost a whisper in his mind, showing him distant systems, hidden threats, unknown enemies watching, waiting, and he understood that awakening the ship had changed everything. Humanity was no longer silent, no longer hidden, and the galaxy would remember this day, the day a human mechanic proved that courage, intelligence, and determination could awaken legends. The galaxy stretched before Alex like an endless battlefield, stars glittering coldly as distant planets turned in their silent orbits. Yet silence had gone, replaced by the roar of engines, the pulse of weapons, the heartbeat of an ancient warship, fully alive under his command. He had faced fleets, survived battles. And now, the galaxy itself seemed to hold its breath, watching humanity rise from shadows into legend. The Alien Council, rulers of systems across countless light years, had sensed the awakening, their fleets converging from every direction, massive warships bristling with weapons beyond comprehension. Their commanders confident that a single human could never wield the power of a warship built to dominate galaxies. But Alex was no longer just a human, and the warship was no longer just a machine. Together they were a force that could not be ignored. He guided the ship into the heart of the incoming armada, the hull pulsing with energy, shields flaring to life, weapons aligning with precision. And for the first time, Alex felt the full weight of responsibility, the lives of billions, the fate of humanity resting on his choices. Yet fear did not control him, determination did, intelligence did, and the quiet pride of knowing that humans had never backed down from impossible odds filled him with unstoppable resolve. The first wave of alien cruisers opened fire, energy beams slicing the void, explosions blooming like violent flowers around him. Yet Alex danced through them, guided by the warship's instincts, each evasive maneuver turning potential destruction into opportunity. He fired back, plasma streams cutting through enemy shields, destroying entire squadrons with precise, calculated strikes. The aliens gasped at the impossible display, realizing the human controlling the ship was more than clever. He was unstoppable as the battle escalated. Massive dreadnoughts emerged, their size dwarfing planets, weapons capable of tearing moons apart. Yet Alex did not hesitate. He activated the ship's final dormant systems, alien technology awakening under his touch, energy shields expanding in layers, weapons firing streams of concentrated light, missiles homing with unmatched speed. And for a moment he felt a strange connection, as if the ship itself shared his anger, his courage, his defiance against centuries of oppression. One alien commander, arrogant and cruel, challenged him directly. Warship against warship, the two, titans colliding in the void, the shockwave flaring outward, destroying nearby vessels. The sky, or what passed for sky in space, illuminated with explosions. Alex realized he was not fighting for survival alone, but for the entire legacy of humanity. For every planet that had whispered of human weakness, for every species that doubted them. And he smiled, fury and pride mingling in his chest. The warship's systems guided him. Yet it was Alex's mind, his strategy that turned tides. He feigned retreat, leading the alien fleet into a narrow nebula canyon. Energy storms crackling around them. The aliens trapped, vulnerable to attacks they could not predict. Alex unleashed the warship's full power, beams of energy slicing through ships, shields collapsing, engines failing, the alien council watching in horror as their strongest fleet was torn apart by a single human and a warship centuries older than their empire. And in the climax of chaos, Alex faced the final flagship, the Council's command vessel. Massive beyond imagining, weapons glowing with deadly intent. It unleashed everything, a storm of energy and destruction. Yet Alex held steady, guided by instinct and trust in the ship. He found a weakness, a hidden flaw in the alien design, and with one daring strike he fired, energy lancing through the vessel, splitting its hull, detonating engines, and when the smoke cleared, the flagship was gone. The remaining alien fleet scattered in fear, retreating into the void. The galaxy stunned into silence. Alex looked out from the cockpit. The stars peaceful once again, the warship glowing softly, alive and patient, as if proud of what had been accomplished. Humanity had risen, not with numbers, not with brute force alone, but with courage, intelligence, and the refusal to be underestimated. The centuries of silence broken, legends reborn, and the universe had seen for the first time what humans could do when they refused to surrender. That Alex knew the journey was not over. The galaxy was vast. Threats would return, challenges would rise, but the warship would remain. Humanity had a champion, a symbol, and the courage to face the impossible. He whispered to himself. We are not weak. We are not small. We are human. And the ship pulsed in agreement, a silent promise echoing through the void. The galaxy forever changed, a single mechanic having awakened the power of centuries, humanity standing taller than ever, unshakable, unstoppable, legendary. And as he set course for home, the stars stretched before him, endless and full of promise. The warship's engines humming like a heartbeat. A new era beginning. Humanity's rise unstoppable, and the universe would never forget the day a human dared to awaken an alien warship, and the galaxy learned that even the smallest hand could wield the greatest power.